Weekend series, Dodgers and Phillies on a gorgeous night at Dodger Stadium as the Dodgers try to win 3 in a row for the first time in 2017. Welcome inside. Joe Davis or Hershiser. Kelly Tennant joins us in just a moment. Let's talk about this offense. Really, two guys have been the most consistent, Justin Turner and Corey Seager. Turner's out of the lineup tonight. It's Corey Seager bobblehead night, so why don't we focus on Corey?
I think the bobblehead, it's appropriate we have him in. You know what? This guy's not going to have a sophomore slump. Corey Seager is really ripping the baseball. Remember back when he struck out 6 times in a row? Well, don't worry about that now. The stats now are blossoming, and he uses the middle of the field. His approach, I don't think there's a 2-strike approach. I don't think there's any approach other than he's going to hit the ball hard somewhere in the middle of the field, and he's doing it very often right now.
Brandon McCarthy's been fantastic. 3-0 for the Dodgers, and tonight we'll just try to keep on doing what he's been doing.
Brandon McCarthy, this is all about health. He's healthy last year as he came back. Then he hit a little bit of the yips. And then the health in spring training was off the charts. A 1-2 punch with Kershaw right now. Maybe a little unexpected, but when you look back to his stats in 2014 when he was a Yankee and the reason the Dodgers signed him, he is throwing the ball at that level now. This will be his 5th start. That's more than he had in 2015, and he is hot.
He'll face off with the Phillies' Zach Eflin. Middle game of this weekend series. Dodgers trying to win the series. Corey Seager signing a couple of those bobbleheads. Looking sharp with a Rookie of the Year and the Silver Slugger included. pitch. Dodgers and Phillies in game 2. And down to the field, here's Kelly Tennant.
Thank you, guys. Well, it is Corey Seager Day as you see him taking the field. Fans receiving his bobblehead earlier on today, but just a few minutes ago, he received the Players' Choice Award for the National League's Most Outstanding Rookie of 2016. And of course, it had to be Justin Turner, his own teammate from the Major League Baseball Players Association, as the players' rep to present him with the award. He also gave him a check for a grant of $20,000 to Muscular Dystrophy Association, as that was the foundation chosen by Corey. But big congratulations go out for this guy.
All right, great stuff, Kelly. A special night for Corey, taking home that award, and 40,000 fans taking home his bobblehead. Time now for the starting lineup for the Phillies. It's brought to you by Honda, as Cesar Hernandez is having a breakout season hitting leadoff. Then Freddie Galvis hits second. Odubel Herrera, their lone all-star a year ago, is the 3-hitter. Franco and Saunders 4 and 5. And then at the bottom of the order, all new faces, at least from the opener. Nava, Stassi, and Knapp all make their first starts of the series. Brandon McCarthy 3-0 with a .225, and Dave Roberts talked about the look in his eye lately. Said he's relentless right now.
He is absolutely feeling it. He feels healthy. He feels his pitches are locked in. He's got rhythm and a lot of confidence, and this is a completely different guy than left Dodger Stadium at the end of last year. He has remade himself into the pitcher that he was in 2014 when he had a great second half for the Yankees. The reason the Dodgers signed him was on ability. The only question mark has been health, and when he's healthy, he is very, very good.
Last start, 2 runs over a season-long 7 innings. That was Sunday at Arizona. Paul Goldschmidt hit a 2-run homer against him in the first. That was it. So he got his 3rd victory of the season. Hernandez stands in. McCarthy looks in for his sign from Grandal, and off we go with game 2 and ball 1. Hernandez 1 for 4 in the opener. A 5-3 Dodger win, getting those 7 innings from Kenta Maeda. 2 balls, no strikes. Phillies scored first in the game last night, 2 runs in the 3rd, but then the Dodgers getting single runs in all the middle innings, and then the 2 runs that proved to be the difference in the 7th on a Justin Turner double. A late strike call, 2-1.
Justin Turner getting a day off right in the middle of the hottest portion of his season, of course.
Hard hit, but right at Chase Utley. 1.
Brandon McCarthy on the mound, falling behind 2-0. The butterflies start to hit you, even as a starting pitcher, as a veteran. You try and find that first strike like you're back in Little League, but once he got the first strike here, came right back in with that 2-seamer, got the patented ground ball.
Freddie Galvis now, and it is those ground balls that have come to define Brandon McCarthy. A mid-career renaissance, going from a guy that tried to strike people out to somebody who tried to induce soft contact, tried to induce ground balls. His first one to Galvis is right down the middle for strike 1. Galvis knocked in the 2 Phillies runs to start the night last night with a double, and his hitting streak is now 10 games. 0-2.
I love the fact that Brandon McCarthy is just staying with the 2-seamer right now. It's got outstanding movement. If he can throw it for strikes, no matter what portion of the plate, you see the Phillies already hitting the top of the ball.
A little nicer in here tonight. It was sunny last night, but it was windy. 25-mile-per-hour winds made it a nice night to pitch. Fastball up and away, 1-2.
The final score was 5-3, but there probably would have been a lot higher score without that wind. There were a lot of balls that were hit and knocked down.
Maybe 2 for Turner. 2-2.
When he ended up getting a double on, the other one was an out.
McCarthy to Galvis, 2-2, and it fades outside, full count. Dodgers have won 3 of 4, trying to win 3 in a row for the first time this year. Phillies, meanwhile, have won 6 of 7, even with the loss last night, after starting the year 5-9. Got in the hands, fouled back, we'll do it again.
Julio Urias and Kenta Maeda, part of the 6-man rotation right now.
Dave Roberts said before the game, at least one more time through, so through next weekend against San Diego, it'll be like that. That's a drive to center, sending Tolles back, edge of the track. No big deal for the second out. And really, it's going to be a 6-man rotation at least another time through, because nobody's given them a reason to take them out. Alex Wood perhaps pitching for his spot. Julio Urias first outing. Maeda perhaps pitching for his spot. And they perform so well, it'd be hard to pull any of them out right now.
Clayton Kershaw's not pitching for his spot, people, don't worry. Everything's fine, but it is hard to pull them out right now, and if they go deep into the game and rest the bullpen pieces, it just shows that they're respecting the length of this season also. That the team is thinking about September and October, and they're thinking about June and July and August as far as health and guys feeling rested and strong.
Odubel Herrera with the bases empty and 2 out. McCarthy's 1-0. Got him swinging, 1-1. So Kenta Maeda obviously travels an interpreter, Will Ireton. Julio Urias often uses an interpreter. Different languages, although they're sharing a conversation here in the first inning. 1-2.
Baseball is a universal language, and they're both learning English from a different direction, but they understand. And there's Will, Kenta's interpreter and good friend. That relationship has worked out and will work out forever. Those guys are very tight.
McCarthy trying to work a 1-2-3 first inning. His 1-2 gets Herrera. Cuts it inside, and down swinging goes the third baseman. Middle first, no score. Time tonight. Here's the lineup brought to you by Honda, with Andrew Tolles leading things off in front of Seager. Gonzalez hits third, with Turner getting the night off. In the middle, it's Grandal, Puig, and Bellinger hitting 6 for the first time. Chase Utley started to heat up. Chris Taylor starts in place of Turner in the field at third. And they all face Zach Eflin, only 23, just celebrated his birthday a few weeks ago. Norrell started the season with a couple of minor league outings. Now in his third big league start of the year, and sharp so far.
Yeah, he's coming back from some surgeries, and he's starting to feel healthy. Spring training was a little short to get him back right for the very beginning. You're going to see predominantly fastballs from this young man. The secondary stuff is coming. The #1 secondary pitch this year is the curveball, where slider was actually ahead of the curveball last year.
Starts Tolles with one that cuts low and in, ball 1. Fastball pounded in the air to center. Herrera's on the move, still going. Tolles starts the game with a home run. His 4th of the season.
Fastball, and it's right down the middle. Andrew Tolles is aggressive early in the count. He squares this one up. And this one even last night might be out, but tonight with very little breeze blowing, Andrew knows he's got a good one as he leaves the box.
Ball 1 on Seager. And it has to be in Eflin's mind right now. His final start last season, before he was shut down with the knee issues that led to the surgeries you were talking about, came in this park and he gave up 3 home runs. Seager grounds back to him. First out. Said he vividly remembers walking up the tunnel to that visiting clubhouse with the knee pain. He had a fractured foot at that point too that he was pitching through. And that's when they finally sat down and said, you know what? Surgery is probably going to be the only thing that's going to get you through this knee pain that he'd been dealing with since he was a little kid. Finally pain-free, although Tolles inflicting a little bit of pain to start his night. Gonzalez up with 1 gone. Strike 1.
Eflin's fastball is very live, and I'm not sure he really knows when he's going to throw the 2-seamer and it's going to sink, and another time when he might pull it into the lefty. But he has tremendous movement. He's a tall young man that's got great extension as he gets down the hill, and when he's behind in the count, he'll throw his fastball about 90% of the time.
Here's a 1-1. Fastball grounded along first. Easy play, Brock Stassi. 2 out. And this is a good fastball hitting lineup that the Dodgers have.
Number 9,
They sure do. And when they face the lefties, which we know they've struggled at, it's that changeup away from them that they put in there. Those guys that are hopefully going to be able to stay on that. But when it comes to hitting the heater, to hit the cheese, these guys, it's hard to sneak it by them.
So Grandal with the bases empty and 2 gone has homered against Eflin. Takes ball 1. Hit one of those 3 home runs in Eflin's last start last year.
Those home runs were not the only ones he gave up in the second half of last year. He led the National League up there at the top in home runs on fastballs. Gave up 11.
Well, he's fastball heavy to begin, and like you mentioned, becomes even more predictable fastball when he's behind in the count. That's a equation, a recipe to have some balls fly out of there. 2-1.
A little bit for disaster, and that's at 23 years old, trying to be pain-free and then getting more reps out there on the mound. The Phillies are hopeful that he can pick up a changeup or pick up a secondary pitch that he can throw for a strike when behind in the count. You talk about pitchers trying to develop a pitch that they can get back into the count in. So you're in a hitter's count and you don't want to just default to fastball like Eflin does, so you're looking for another pitch to get back in the count.
Home with a 2-2, and Grandal chops one foul. Eflin for a day was a Dodger. Actually came over with Yasmani Grandal in the Matt Kemp deal in December 2014 from San Diego. But a day later, the Dodgers flipped him to the Phillies for Jimmy Rollins. '23-year-old from Orlando, home with another 2-2. And Grandal carves it out to see another.
One thing I've noticed about Eflin already that the Dodgers will pick up on is when he throws a strike with that fastball, the ball has a tendency to be a little flatter, not have as much movement. And when he throws the one that has great movement, it's a ball. It's down below the knees.
Grandal tries to lay off and does. Full count.
And that's part of developing as a pitcher also, that you realize that the ball feels really good coming out of my hand and it's near the plate, but it's not really a strike, and that's my best moving pitches. And then when I get it up and throw strikes, it's really hittable.
Payoff. Grandal hits it up the middle. There's Galvis hit short to end the inning. But the Dodgers waste no time jumping on Eflin. Andrew Tolles to center field for his 4th home run of the season. And after 1-0. The walls here in Dodger Stadium. Few of them for that guy, Clayton Kershaw. I hear there's one up there with your name in it, I've been told.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
It's a lifetime dream and one you don't think is going to come true. But after Clayton won his first, I think he probably thought he could win another and another and maybe another if R.A. Dickey wouldn't have gotten away.
Second inning. Brandon McCarthy back to the mound, facing the middle third of this order. Maikel Franco. Ball 1. Ripped down the left field line, and that's a fair ball into the corner. Bellinger plays it. Franco on his way to second with a leadoff double.
Right fielder number 5, Michael Saunders.
You can see why the Phillies are excited about this young man. Boy, he's got some bat speed and some rhythm up there. I know his average isn't high right now, but that's a good looking swing.
And he has started to heat up the last week or two after an 0 for 22 slide, which was the longest of his career. Leadoff man at second. Here's Michael Saunders. 1 for 4 last night. He bunts one in the air, foul, strike 1. Struck out 3 times last night, Saunders did. First time this year that he'd done that. His first year with the Phillies, one of the many guys that signed a 1-year contract. They're in the middle of this rebuild. They don't necessarily look at this year as a year where they're going to contend, but signed several veterans to those short-term deals they're hoping to then potentially flip for prospects at the deadline. 1-1.
Pieces with two purposes. Get us to the deadline, and then we'll figure out if we want to keep you for the future years or if we want to flip you. And the veterans in some ways are glad to be part of that equation. They've got a chance to be with a winner at the end of the year. You're signing with a team that probably doesn't have a chance to go to the playoffs, but you're signing with a team that doesn't have a chance to go to the playoffs.
Yeah. Saunders with his third different team. He was a Mariner, then a Blue Jay, now a Philly. That one tails in there, and it's 2-2.
That pitch is almost unhittable. It feels like it's going to hit you in the front leg as a left-handed hitter, and then it comes all the way back and catches the corner. Perfected by Greg Maddux, carried on by Brandon McCarthy.
Who delivers? Saunders yanks one on a bounce to Utley, who makes the play and gets Saunders. It advances Franco to third, and one gone.
It seems like every time somebody has a day off, they get to be on the pregame show and interviewed on the desk. Puig was yesterday, Justin Turner was today, and in Justin's interview with Kelly and Jerry, he just sang the praises of Chase Utley, especially in the base running department and the mentoring department. And when you watch him just field a ground ball that's very routine, I don't think anything he does is routine because there's so much more going on there.
Here's Daniel Nava with a tying run 90 feet away. One gone in the second. McCarthy pitches, and Nava pops one up. Foul ground at third. Chris Taylor has room for the second out, and a big one at that.
You know, this was a routine ground ball, but Chase Utley catches it in a very unique way. Let's take a look at the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam, and you see that he stays in front of that. It hits the edge of his glove there, kind of rolls up his arm and up against his thigh. You don't see that when he's catching it full speed, but the slow-mo cam gives it to you.
Chase don't need no glove. 2 outs.
It would be Chase don't need no stinking glove.
Yeah. Brock Stassi, major league debut this year as a 27-year-old. McCarthy misses up, ball one. Stassi making his 6th start here in his rookie campaign. Tommy Joseph getting a day off. Franco's at third with 2 gone, and McCarthy home with a 1-0. Breaking ball over the outside corner, strike one. 3-0 so far this season for the native of Glendale, at least born in Glendale. Grew up in Pasadena and Colorado. A 1-1 pitch, and it's 1-2. Stassi, a former 33rd round pick of the Phillies, climbed the ladder. 6 minor league seasons where he was a part-time pro baseball player and a part-time substitute teacher in the offseason. Here's a 1-2. Fouled off.
Be interesting, instead of doing the lineups one day, is we did old jobs that guys had. Either their name and underneath it what they used to be. Tolls, of course, we know in the grocery store business. Substitute teacher at the plate.
Another 1-2. Good stop from Grandal with Franco bearing down third.
So many things at the big league level that go unnoticed because they're so routine and so well done. Amateur ball, minor league ball, that probably is a run, but big leaguer, they're just so good and so consistent.
Franco started this inning with a double. McCarthy trying to strand him. Hard hit to left. Bellinger drifting back on it, twisting to make the catch. And McCarthy able to dance around that leadoff double. The Dodgers still with a 1-0 lead. And an Andrew Toles home run. On to the bottom of the second on a gorgeous Saturday night here in Los Angeles. Yasiel Puig to lead off this inning, off his first off day of the year. Said he spent the off day bouncing around the dugout, but mainly pestering Julio Urias and anybody else that he could get the ear of over in that Dodger dugout. Said he doesn't like off days because he feels like he should be doing something. He's looking for his phone to send a text. Those phones aren't in the dugout. Yanks one down the line, but foul for strike one.
If he'd listened to the replay of the broadcast from last night, he'd get the strategy on how not to get an off day. I mean, all you got to do is bug the manager.
I told him that.
You did?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He laughed. I told him, too, that it seems like every time we put a camera on him, he's doing something, even though there's no way he knows those cameras are on him. Checks his swing, takes it low. It's 1-1. And he said, don't be so sure. I know where every camera in this park is.
Oh, he's camera savvy.
And I said, now you know how to know if they're on, right? Oh, yeah, red light. He knows.
Boy.
2-1. Taking a picture of John Su last night.
So he knows where every camera is, including the still cameras.
Right. See if he gets one to drive. On 2-1. Pop up. And into the dugout. So is Stassi. Great effort from the old substitute teacher, now living a big league dream.
We got leather on it. He just didn't catch it. Let's take a look at our Carl's Cam replay right here. Substitute teacher Stassi, now first baseman, now big leaguer, gets a little big league leather on it, and I think, oh my gosh, I'd give him about a 6.5 on this. The dive, not the possible catch. Usually you should get a little more help than that, Joe, on your own side.
Maybe you shouldn't jump over the guy with the oblique injury. Full count on Puig. That was Howie Kendrick over there on the top step. Puig leading off this second. Toles led off the first with a homer. And Puig leading off the second. With a ground ball up along third, and it stays full.
Chris Woodward flashing the hands. The infield instructor for the Dodgers. He has made great improvements on Justin Turner, on Corey Seager.
Fastball lifted in the air to right. On comes Saunders, and he's got it. So Puig the first out of the second.
Fielder number 35.
Up comes Cody Bellinger, hitting sixth today. You know, earlier this week when he made his major league debut, his mom tweeted out this picture of a young Cody in a Dodger cap. It was meant to be.
You got some chubby cheeks there and some chubby arms. That baby fat all went away. He is now lean and mean.
Good night for him last night. 2 hits and a walk. Scored his first major league run.
Well, I remember you telling a story about that he didn't really get his height till late in life, and his strength and the power came late.
Most of the power is something that's bloomed late for him. Only hit 4 home runs over his first 2 major league seasons, although those were over the first 2 pro seasons, shorter seasons, but still.
Well, you can have 2 home runs in a week.
Inside 1-1. Yeah, it wasn't until his first full minor league season where that power started to blossom. Hit 30 home runs in 2015, then 26 last year. 2-1. Like you mentioned, that body developed and his 6'4" frame filled out. Always tweaking that swing. Who isn't? The pro game, he said, slowed down for him. On the ground into the shift, Galvis waiting on it. 2 gone.
The thing about Cody for me is He's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman, but his ability to play the outfield is really shining. He looks very comfortable out there in left field, and he has his wheels to actually play center field. So it gives the Dodgers a lot of flexibility. If the bat starts to come around, if the power comes around at the big league level, he's got a lot of places he can play.
Chase Utley up with 2 gone in the second. Yeah, George Lombard, who works with the outfielders, said that he's exceeded expectations for them. And the thing that has stood out has been his throwing arm. They didn't know that it was that good. A couple throws in San Francisco that had the coaching staff saying, wow. Tailing fastball for a strike on Utley. Remember the throw that he made to finish Game 3 on the sacrifice fly that Pence hit? There was no chance he was going to throw the guy out at home, but it was relatively close. And George Lombard said the entire coaching staff, that was the first positive thing that came up once the sting of the loss wore off back in the clubhouse.
He threw a ball to third base also after chasing a ball down in the corner, and he threw it not only to third base accurately and strongly, but it was the correct base to throw it to at the time. And it wasn't like cut and dry that that's where the ball should go. But he really understood space and time out there in left field for a guy who hasn't had a lot of reps to know exactly where the ball needed to be.
Eflin to Utley with a 1-2 pitch. Do it again.
The other thing pregame that Justin Turner mentioned about Chase Utley as his off day was here and Chase was in the lineup, Justin was talking about just how much the team is rooting for him. They understand his struggles now with his numbers, and he's the last guy on the team that they would like to see leave because ability looks like it's starting to waver.
And strike 3 called over the outside corner to finish the inning. Eflin's first strikeout of the game, threw it 2, and the Dodgers with a 1-run lead. We start the third. The score is 1-0, and we welcome you inside. Joe Davis with Oral Hershiser. The Dodgers trying to win 3 in a row for the first time, and you get the feeling optimistically that they're starting to get this thing headed in the right direction.
You got the right guy on the mound. If you don't have Clayton Kershaw, you want Brandon McCarthy. 3 out of 4 of his starts going into this one. He's gone to at least the 6th inning. He's thrown the ball well. Guess what? His ERA is lower than Clayton's to start this game, and he continues to put zeros up. It's going to get even lower. It's going to creep down there around 2. Clayton's at about 2.29, and I think Brandon to start the game was at 2.25.
Andrew Knapp, the 8-hitter, takes a big curve, strike 1. One of the big things with McCarthy has been that strike 1 leads the majors in first pitch strike percentage. More than 3/4 of the time he gets a strike with a first pitch, and he's quickly ahead 0-2.
You notice that Brandon got that first pitch strike with a breaking ball, so not only just expect a fastball, I'm going to pound the zone, but he mixes his pitches on the first pitch.
During his last outing in Arizona, Dave Roberts walked up to both Alex Wood and Kenta Maeda separately and said, watch what Brandon's doing. This is what we want. Attack the bottom of the zone, induce those ground balls and soft contact, and pitch relentlessly the way that Dave thought he did against the Diamondbacks. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's almost like never let him see you sweat. It's the body language. It's the pacing between pitches. No matter how you feel, you need to look like you've got your suit of armor on and you're attacking. So even you go ball 1, ball 2 right there after getting ahead, get right back on the hill, gather your thoughts, and get right back in and attack. Sometimes you have to convince yourself that, hey, I do feel good, let's go. Just that confidence of, I can do this, get you right back in line.
He certainly has been a confident guy this year after that battle with the yips last year in August. They derailed the end of that season. Cuts this one inside and a full count on Knapp, leading off the 3rd. Eflin, the pitcher's next, and then the top of the order, Cesar Hernandez. Knapp making him work. Another guy like Brock Stassi, who finished the last inning, it's making his big league debut this year. Much more likely big leaguer in that he was a 2nd rounder. Starting today for Cameron Rupp. Mired in about a week-long slump now. Another 3-2. Ground ball to second. Chase Utley has it sneak through his legs. And the leadoff man on here in the 3rd.
Number 56, at LA.
Chase fielded one that was almost too hot to handle, did well, and that one just didn't get all the way down on it. Sometimes the infielders will tell you that cut of grass, even though it doesn't give you the wrong hop, visually it's sometimes hard to pick it up, but Chase would tell you he should have had that one.
So now it's Eflin with a man at first in a 1-0 game. Likely bunt situation for the Phillies pitcher. Ball 1.
Yes, there's Sam. Juan Samuel down there. Outstanding Philly.
Signed his first pro contract on this date 37 years ago out of the Dominican Republic. One and one.
This is where Brandon McCarthy can really pick up Chase Utley. He's got the pitcher up there. He's definitely bunting. Chris Taylor at 3rd, Adrian Gonzalez are really pinching in hard. Somehow deny this sacrifice or even turn it into a double play.
One and two.
Actually easier to charge when the batter pitcher has 1 strike on him than 2. It's with 2, you're not sure if he's going to pull it back and slash it. It looks like he's going to start bunt, but he still could pull it back.
And foul tipped into the mitt for strike 3. So the Dodgers gifted an out there. Thursday on an all-new episode of Backstage Dodgers. Follow Sergio Romo in his return to San Francisco. And get an inside look at Cody Bellinger's big league debut. They had his dad Clay mic'd up. Clay, a former big leaguer himself. It's presented by Hankook Tires. Thursday at 7 on Sportsnet LA. So second time through for the Phillies. Cesar Hernandez started the game by grounding out to second. Pulls this one sharply under a leaping runner into right for a base hit. So 2 on with 1 out.
where you're glad you got the pitcher bunting strikeout. This ball finds the hole because the runner on first is still there. Knapp and does a nice job on the high hurdles.
So Hernandez just keeps on hitting for the Phillies. And McCarthy finds himself in a bit of a jam here in the third. Facing the longest tenured Philly. Freddie Galvis in his 6th season, and he's the longest tenured guy on the roster. Fouled off, strike one. Tells the story of the turnaround they're trying to do. This franchise had a stretch where they won 5 consecutive division titles. Included a world championship in 2008, pennant in 2009. They're the last National League franchise to win back-to-back pennants.
Jimmy Rollins, who was a Dodger, Chase Utley, who is a Dodger, both the middle infielders in that time. Ryan Howard, who they're still paying to not play first base.
So those guys have moved on and overhauled the roster. 5-year playoff drought now. Good stop from Grandal, and it's 1-1.
And Dodger fans won't forget those Philly teams because they were the ones that usually get in the way of the Dodgers and moving on through the playoffs. The cameraman is fast to get there that quick.
They are good. 2-1.
There's enough cameramen too. I mean, they're like bobbleheads all around the stadium. They're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, literally tonight with the Corey Seager giveaway. Everybody's got them. McCarthy's 2-1, and Galvis fouls it off 2-2. 27 years old now. Number 1 prospect in the Phillies organization is a shortstop, J.P. Crawford. So Galvis hasn't heard the end of it from people around town and from media asking how he feels about his future with a team, just because they know Crawford's banging on the door to try and unseat him. A lot of people thought that it would be him moving to second, Cesar Hernandez going elsewhere, but now Hernandez has turned into their best hitter this year. 3-2, but Crawford, the top prospect, remains that, a prospect. Galvis, meanwhile, has played 6 seasons and is having his best year thus far. A 3-2. Galvis lifts one in the air to center. Andrew Tolles is under it. 2 out.
Well, here's where you're not in the dugout yet, but you got a chance to pick up your teammate, cover up for Chase Utley's error.
37.
Some nice sequencing right there by Yasmani Grandal and Brandon McCarthy. Galvis looked like he was on the ball low and away, and that's the pitch that they like to throw to left-handers, but they came up and in. Got him off of that.
So it's up to Odubel Herrera. Phillies signed him to an extension this offseason, officially making him a cornerstone of their rebuild. Team options through the 2023 season. A guy that was their only All-Star representative last year. McCarthy starts him with a breaking ball, strike one. At .285 a year ago, lowered his strikeout percentage, raised his walk percentage. Known as a really aggressive hitter, sometimes to a fault. 2 on, 2 out in the third, and an 0-1. Tailing fastball just misses, ball one.
Talk about Brandon McCarthy's two-seamer and the great movement, and then the curveball's getting a lot of recognition right now, but that cutter, just every once in a while in there under the left-handed hitter's hands. It really accentuates the movement of the two-seamer away and the curveball down.
Here comes the 1-1. And Herrera grounds it to second. Utley's got this one cleanly, and the inning is over. Phillies have stranded 3 over the last 2 innings against McCarthy. Middle 3 on Corey Seager bobblehead night. Nothing, and we go to Kelly Tennant.
Thank you, Joe. Rich Hill threw a sim game earlier this afternoon, 3 innings, 48 pitches, trying to feel out that blister. And when I spoke to Dave Roberts earlier today, he said it went really well. According to Rick Honeycutt, he saw what he wanted to see. The blister did hold up. So moving forward, he'll go out on Thursday to a rehab assignment to Rancho. 60 pitches and 4 innings is the goal there. And Dave Roberts saying that will be a very telling outing for them, and they will decide what to do with him after that.
And he said too, Kelly, that Thursday at Rancho may be a loaded lineup for the Quakes because Jock Peterson and Logan Forsythe are on schedule to rehab that night as well for them. Chris Taylor leading off the third against Zach Eflin, and taking a ball. It's 1-1.
When I was in the minor leagues, you loved it when opponents brought their major leaguers in to face you. And they were rehabbing because you got to look at them and you got to compare yourself.
Yanked down the line and foul, and it's 1-2. And he got a nice meal, right?
Well, yes, the big leaguers, that's on your own team. The big leaguers culturally are supposed to make it a lot nicer spread than what's normally there for minor leaguers. You were in the minor leagues as an announcer. Did you ever go down there when a big leaguer was buying the spread? Say, I'm going to get a little better food.
Yeah, I try to stay out of the clubhouse. Their food,
exactly.
At least off of their food. That's low, and it's 2-2. I remember, though, with big league rehabbers coming back, being really nervous as the minor league broadcaster, going up and asking for an interview. Was once turned down by one who told me he'd prefer to just chill. Softly hit at short. It's Galvis. Wow. He'll remain unnamed.
I was going to say, you have so many people out there right now, a few on Twitter saying, come on, give it up. Give it up.
Now McCarthy bats. Brandon started a big rally in his last start with a walk against Arizona, which makes me think of Shelby Miller. Horrible news for the Diamondbacks. Shelby Miller needs Tommy John surgery. That's ball on inside. You know, Miller had a couple very good seasons with Atlanta and with St. Louis. Horrible year last year, but was looking good again this year. 1-1. Went for a review of that elbow. They did some tests on it. Then you heard he was going for a second opinion, which isn't a good sign. Then a third opinion, and he knew something was bad. 2-1.
Yeah, it was almost like he was looking for somebody that would say it doesn't need to be repaired. You can rehab this. Or he felt in his heart it needed to be repaired, but he just wanted to be convinced.
It's 2-2.
A little different than my reaction when Dr. Job looked at my MRI for my shoulder and said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "What are we going to do?" He said, "We need to do this." And I said, "Let's do it tomorrow." He said, "You didn't want a second opinion?" I said, "Doc, you're teaching all the rest of the doctors around the world. I don't need a second opinion."
Right. McCarthy needs a second bat after he cracks that one.
It is scary. There's so many rumors out there about Tommy John surgery that, oh, you'll be throwing harder after it's over. No, that's not true.
That's strike 3, 2 gone in the third.
That you automatically, the rehab is going to go fine and you'll be back between 11 and 14 months. Well, that's not always completely true. You have to, if you have to go through it, there are odds that are against you.
So here's Tolles. Didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, it's just not perfect, and I think there's a lot of people out there that think, oh, you know, you're hurt and you'll be back, but it's not perfect. And the recurrence of second surgeries being needed done is out there too.
That one gets a piece of Tolles and home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom, and Andrew wastes no time getting down to first. 2-out base runner.
Think about Logan Forsythe when you see balls down there by the toes. That one doesn't look like it hurt Andrew very much, other than it hit the dirt first and then came up on his foot, not directly down on his foot.
Good news, huh, about Logan maybe rehabbing next Thursday, rehab game?
Yep, it's all to tolerance as far as the pain. It's not going to be healed yet, but doctors have told him, and Dave Roberts has been told, that if he can stand the pain, he can play.
And right now, pain-free with a broken foot. Corey Seager takes inside, ball 1.
The treatments and the modalities that they get to use down there in the Major League training room, it speeds up the healing. Whatever somebody in the normal public, after they have a surgery and they go home and maybe they go to rehab 3 times a week for a half hour or whatever they go for, these guys are getting treatment 3 times a day. And that speeds up the healing process tremendously because they're speeding up the circulatory system. They're getting really specific with what they need to do for specific injuries and where they are in the course of healing and how they then change the therapy.
Two-seam fastball fades into the zone, and it's 1-1 on Corey Seager. Grounded back to the mound his first time. Hit one of those 3 home runs that chased Eflin from his final start of the year here last year. The 1-1. Yanked into right, a base hit. Tolles will go first to third on a 2-out single from Corey Seager. And we look at the Land Rover Performance Spotlight with number 5.
Corey Seager has had some big hits on big nights, and you'd look at the highest OPS by a shortstop. 208 career MLB games. Corey Seager is right there behind A-Rod and right ahead of our peer and buddy Nomar Garcia-Parra. This hit right here, I think he might even hit a home run tonight on bobblehead night. He hit one on his birthday in a first at bat.
Sure did. Jock Peterson, if for nothing else, needs to get off the DL because it doesn't look like he handles downtime great. Adrian Gonzalez men at the corners and 2 gone, and he swings and dribbles it softly. Galvis throws him out, and the inning is over. Dodgers a couple of base runners, but nothing to show for it. On to the middle innings and a 1-0 game and a fun time tonight. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. Beautiful night here at the ballpark. Dodgers trying to win 3 in a row for the first time this year and trying to ride Brandon McCarthy there. He's 3-0 himself. What a nice year it's been for him. Healthy thus far. Made the rotation during spring training and was quick to tell everybody, look, I'm not too excited about making the rotation. Been a big league pitcher for more than a decade. What he'd be excited about would be, for the first time in a 12-year career, pitching in the postseason. Middle part of the order, Maikel Franco doubled against him his first time. That's one of the 2 hits the Phillies have. McCarthy threw his line. The first pitch of the 4th cuts away. Ball 1.
One of the hits off McCarthy, but none of the hits off McCarthy with runners in scoring position. The Phillies are 0 for 5, so he is really bearing down when it counts.
1-1.
Only about half the time has Brandon gotten the first pitch strike, but he's gotten back into counts very well. 7 out of 13 batters, first pitch strike.
Little jam shot right center field. Tolles comes on, won't get there, and Franco opens the 4th with his 2nd hit.
Tolles plays a little deeper center field than Jock. He likes to come in on the ball. He likes to read it that way. Jock's not bad at going back or in. Tolles rather come in, just not quite as comfortable out there and as rangy as Jock.
How much of that is the individual outfielder's call? How much of it is the pitcher's call?
Well, it's more of the outfielder and George Lombard's call on what they think the positioning should be and then where he's comfortable.
Michael Saunders takes ball 1. Or strike 1. Geez, I'm going to have to learn with Gary Cedarstrom to give it an extra beat.
Yeah, he's a little on the slow side.
George Lombard positions the defenders. One and 1. Saunders in his first year with the Phillies. Before this, he was with the Blue Jays. A kid that grew up in Canada dreaming of playing for the Blue Jays. That's a base hit to center. Back-to-back singles open the 4th for the Phillies.
One jam shot, one legitimate hit right here. A curveball just kind of rolled up there a little bit. It's not a terrible pitch, but it didn't get him out.
So now Daniel Nava, who is with his 6th different major league team in 5 years. 34 years old now. It's been quite a path for him to reach the majors. He was undrafted, so started his pro career in independent ball, the Golden League. Boston signed him out of there about a year and a half after he began playing in indie ball. Takes strike 1. 2 years after Boston signed him, he made his major league debut for the Red Sox. 3 years later, he was a key piece on a world championship team in Boston. Since then, though, thumb injury, knee injury, it slowed him down. From the Rays to the Angels to the Royals and now the Phillies. Digs one out, right center field. Tolles cruises over on it and makes the play. Franco headed for 3rd, and they'll be at the corners with 2 out. Or with 1 out.
Number 41, Brock Stassi.
Double play still in order. Brandon McCarthy, Osmani Grandal, I'm sure talking about that. Stassi plays first base, but he runs pretty well. If he hits it firmly, though, you'd have a shot at getting 2. And with a 1-run lead here in the top of the 4th, I'm sure the Dodgers will play for 2 up the middle and have the corners in slightly. Osmani coming out, get everybody's attention, give the first and third stolen base possibility signs. What are we going to do? Are we going to bluff to second, throw to third, back behind the runner there? Are we going to throw through and just try and get the guy going from first to second, not worry about the guy on third? Everybody has a responsibility.
McCarthy's first one to Stassi is hit in the air to left center field. Tolles on the move, still going at the wall, and it's gone. Brock Stassi hits a 3-run homer and puts the Phillies in front in the fourth.
This ball surprised me and how far it went. At first I thought, oh, it's just a routine sac fly. He's kind of out in front, one hands it. This got a little cushion of air underneath it. Barely gets out. But I can't believe it. I thought Tolles was going to have a chance to catch it. Then I thought, okay, it's a gapper. And then when it went over, I'm like, even Stassi's like, did I really hit it that far?
McCarthy had the same reaction.
I think that there's some kind of little jet stream or something that ball that took it out of here.
Andrew Knapp, first pitch curve, strike one. Making up for lost time last night with how many balls got knocked down. Nothing getting knocked down tonight. All the runs coming off homers. That's another base hit. To Andrew Knapp with a 1-out single, the fourth hit of the inning against McCarthy.
Pitcher number 56, Zach Eflin.
Only a couple hits before this inning. Now the Phillies have doubled their hit production all in one inning, from 2 all the way up to 4 this inning. Brandon doesn't seem to be making any different of pitches. They're just putting some good swings on the ball.
It's a team that last year, Orr, was dead last in the majors in runs per game. Above average this year in Pete Maccannon's second full year as the skipper. He took over for Ryan Sandberg in an interim role in 2015, and they kept him around. The pitcher Eflin tried to bunt his first time, wound up striking out. Takes ball one here. Phillies last year were the youngest team in baseball. 3 years before that, they were the third oldest team in baseball. You mentioned guys like Utley and Rollins and Howard moving on and getting much younger, but getting much worse in order to try and play the long-term card.
Yeah, people around Philly thought they hung on to that core for a little bit too long. A lot of people thought maybe a year or two too long, but so many great memories from those foundational all-star players that they were hoping they could find the magic again. They'd also committed a lot of long-term deals and money to them.
Eflin lays this one down. Looked like it might have hit his foot. I guess not. Grandal will throw him out. Into scoring position goes Knapp with 2 away.
Osmani's asking to see if that hit his foot. And they're going to have to get together here. And it did. It hit the toe, I think, of his shoe. Eflin does a nice job. Yeah, I think it did, but he does a nice job maybe deking it.
Umpires getting together right now. Only way this happens is if the man who's responsible to make that call asks for help from the rest of his crew. And they are going to send Knapp back to first.
Yeah, I think it definitely hit it.
They'll call Eflin back out. Yep.
Yeah.
So that'd be Gary Cedarstrom, the home plate umpire, saying, all right, guys, what do you got? Tom Woodring down at first, Eric Cooper at second, Adrian Johnson at third, and together they get the call right.
They're bringing them back together. Maybe they want to review in New York. Now they're going to call him out.
Huh. I thought that it might have hit his foot again up the baseline, but that shouldn't matter if it hit his foot in the box.
Foul. That's fine.
I think we're on the same page now.
He was wrong on his clicker. Maybe he had him as 2 strikes, and now that's a strikeout. We got this part right, and if it's ruled a foul ball, it doesn't matter if he touches the ball out there in fair territory again, because now they've considered it foul. It's the toe. That's a reviewable call by replay, but they didn't even need to go to replay.
It's 1-2. And now he strikes out. So now 2 gone, and after all of that, the man's still at first. It's the 3rd K for McCarthy, and back to the top of the order for Cesar Hernandez.
Number 16, Cesar Hernandez.
Who has turned his career around, gone from being an afterthought, really a placeholder, following Chase Utley at second base for the Phillies, to putting up some of the best numbers of any major league hitter over the last year. Breaking ball, wrapped around the plate, ball 1. He was not good early last year. His on-base percentage was below 300. And we told this story last night, but Pete Mackanin benched him and said, this is not rest. This is me telling you, you better change your approach. You're not going to play. Fastball whistles in. It's 1-1. Immediately had a better look during batting practice. There was an injury, so Mackanin had no choice but to play him again. 4 for 4 that first day back, and an on-base percentage of .427 the rest of the way. Here's the 1-1 offering. A little bit low, 2-1.
You imagine the shock, but then the shock of getting back in there, and then also how he switched mentally. I mean, all of a sudden to say, I'm going to come up with a new swing, I'm going to come up with a new mental approach, and then find success right away. We watch guys go whole seasons or half a seasons to try and figure out how to get better and get the ball out of the air or get the ball on the ground or whatever thing they are trying to do now that the manager says, this is so bad, you're sitting down here on the pine until you get it right.
Makes you wonder what he's been doing the first 25 years of his life. Guess that one misses. Ball 4 and 2 on with 2 out.
Shortstop, Freddie.
In some ways, it sounds like to me that the swing and the approach was already there, but he got out of it or didn't use it in enough pitches, enough at bats, that all of a sudden the manager's saying, look, you're going to sit here until you use that approach all the time. The one that you use there with 2 strikes, I want that approach through the whole count.
Freddie Galvis, 2 on and 2 out. The Phillies have taken the lead here in the 4th on a home run from their 7-hitter, Brock Stassi. McCarthy to Galvis for the first one, and it's a curve that is a strike. Grandal keeps it in front of him. The runners hang on.
Osmani switched gloves a couple weeks ago, and this glove is a little bit bigger. And we've seen a few of these clanks over the last 10 days or so where he's trying to frame the pitch and keep the glove on the plate, but all of a sudden he doesn't catch it on the web. He's like almost shutting it too soon, or he's trying to keep the glove in the strike zone using the bigger size glove, but he's not really gauging where the web is correctly. And it might be because it's just not in the same relationship in his hand, and how when you see him do that a lot, almost like he wants to make the glove smaller and bend it in.
Break it in more?
Yeah, because the glove was much smaller before and it was more just a part of his hand. This one is an extension of his hand.
Two on, 2 out here in the 4th. McCarthy ready for an 0-1. Galvis breaks his bat on into short center. Seager extends to make the play, and it helped that he was 6'4". A 3-run shot against McCarthy has flipped the script in the 4th.
good luck charm and purchase a 5-game weekend plan starting at $20 per ticket. If the Dodgers win all 5 of the games you pick, you'll win 2 tickets to Fan Appreciation Day, September 24th, and be recognized in a group photo on the field. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/miniplans.
Dodgers down in this one 3-1 onto the bottom of the 4th inning. Yasmani Grandal to lead it off. Against Zach Eflin, 23 years old, out of Orlando, home with the first pitch. Yeah, and it's low for ball 1 on Grandal, who has owned the Phillies in his career, but he's also had one of the low points of his career against Philadelphia. Here's a 1-0. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Had the All-Star season in 2015, but that was because of the first half. You remember the finish that he had where he was 6 for 94. Here's a 2-0. That dips low, 3 balls, no strikes. That started when he hurt his shoulder at Philadelphia. He was catching and took a foul tip right off of the bone on his shoulder. 3-1. Shoulder been bothering him some, but it was something he was playing through. And then it hit a spot that didn't have any padding on it. Right when it happened, he thought, oh, that doesn't feel good. Yanks this one to right. Saunders is there to make the catch for the first out. But when it really hit him that it was injured was he was in the on-deck circle to lead off the next inning and was swinging the bat around with his right arm. Then he swung it with his left arm and almost gave out on it. And he said he thought adrenaline helped him get through that day, but the next day when he woke up, felt like he had gotten hit by a bus on that left side, which makes it even more remarkable that he played the rest of the season. 6 for 94, but he still played with a badly damaged AC joint that he had operated on after the year. Strike 1 on Puig. Oh, and 2.
LCL's had some fastballs to hit tonight so far, and this is second at bat. He's getting a little bit underneath him right now. Visualize a little bit more the center of the ball, but maybe some balls at a little bit center cut that he could square up.
Eflin's 0-2 pitch. A fastball low and outside. That's the pitch he's been better at taking. Fastballs, breaking balls, whatever it is, but in that location. It's an article in Dodger Insider yesterday that detailed how much better he's been plate discipline-wise this year on those. They go back there and he lays off again. A year ago, he swung at 43% of pitches that were down and away out of the zone. 43% last year, 21% this year. On 2-2. Fastball pounded to right center. It's tailing. Herrera's running and diving to make the catch. Odubel Herrera for the second out of the inning.
Let's take a look at our Volkswagen slow-mo cam right here. This Philadelphia Philly, Herrera, is not running in slow motion, but the slow-mo cam catches him, the ball, and it's a beauty. And Yasiel is like, no. Day off, and I thought I had myself a double, and I might have been able to run like the wild horse if you let that one drop.
Now Bellinger. Fastball backs him away. It's 1-0. And he ran a long way. Look, he's in left center to begin. Two 2-0 on Bellinger. So 2 quick outs in this 4th inning, but 2 balls that were pummeled by Dodger hitters. A 2-0 down the middle for a strike. Dodgers only 2 hits against Eflin. Home run to start the night from Tolles, and then a single from Seager in the 3rd. Two and two. Going outside. Fastball grounded off of the mound is second. Hernandez throws Bellinger out, and that's a 1-2-3 4th inning. Dodgers down 3-1. Some great defense from Herrera and the Phillies in that frame.
LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Get incredible deals on a spacious new Sienna. Toyota's leading the way sales event.
The old Philly great Steve Carlton on this date in 1981 became the first lefty ever to strike out 3,000 when he got the old Dodger coach Tim Wallach. One of the worst trades in big league history. It's always considered. St. Louis traded him to the Phillies mostly over a contract dispute a couple years before that. Went on to pitch 24 major league seasons. Brandon McCarthy back out there. 3-4-5 for the Phillies in this inning. And Odubel Herrera, the first man up. Strike one.
Steve Carlton had one of the best sliders to ever grace the big league pitching mound. It was so big and so filthy. It looked like almost a curveball at times, but you know Clayton Kershaw's curveball and slider, it was like a combination of both. That sharp and that big.
Herrera flips one inside the bag, a base hit. That ricochets off the sidewall and gives him time to get into second with a leadoff double.
Well, in the last 3 outs or so, Herrera's plus minus is outstanding. Makes the great grab in right center on Yasiel's ball and now just carves this one down the line. A good pitch, but an even better piece of hitting.
So Maikel Franco to the plate. We're talking one Phillies great, Steve Carlton, greatest Phillies pitcher, greatest Phillies hitter, probably Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt has mentored Maikel Franco some. Guest instructor during spring training for the Phillies still some. And he's taken a liking to their current third baseman. First pitch to him is in there, strike one. Prior to last season, Schmidt called this guy an MVP candidate after he'd worked with him. Said he liked the borderline cockiness, liked the way that he hit, liked his willingness to listen. The highest of expectations Mike Schmidt has for Maikel Franco. Banged up the middle. Utley knocks it down to Seager, who will throw to first to get him.
They throw back behind Herrera, who's in safely. A 4-6-3 put out and 1 out here in the 5th.
You almost could put 1 in this equation. This ball just misses Brandon McCarthy. He gets the glove up, but not in time. Chase knocks it down, scoots it over to Corey. Corey to Adrian. Adrian back to Chase. 1 out.
Do you have a way in your book of differentiating a play like that from a double play? Because when I look down, it's going to look like there was a double play turn.
Yeah, I'd write not a double play.
You got tiny writing, huh? Or big boxes over on your scorecard. Saunders flips the first one foul and flips the bat into his dugout.
What was the play at third base the other day where the pitcher got 2 tagouts at third base?
I saw you tweet somebody about that.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I ruled it as. Oh, you got to freeze there. Yeah, he was so in between the whole time, Herrera. Unfortunately for him, he is very fast, so he can make a lot of moves back and forth and still get back safely.
She had the NFL draft that looked like the shuttle drill there.
Oh yeah.
New bat for Saunders. Swallowed up by the dugout. Either a new bat or the same bat, just with some more pine tar on it. And it's second, 1 gone in the 5th, and an 0-1 from McCarthy. Popped up. Corey Seager's there. That's the second out. So McCarthy is out away from getting through 5 with a pitch count at 80. Dave Roberts has talked about how he's trying to be mindful of the injury history. It's easy to forget when a guy pitches as well as he has that he's still only a couple years removed from Tommy John.
And you just want to take the wraps off when you see the effectiveness that he has shown in the first 4 starts, now coming into this 5th start.
Daniel Nava, the Phillies batter here. McCarthy will step off. McCarthy threw a season-high 99 pitches his last time, but before that, 78 pitches in his first start, 91, then 86. So getting into that range where he's finished up his first few outings. Fastball caught the corner for a strike. Tommy John surgery was on April 30th of 2015. 14 months of rehabbing to come back to make 9 starts last year. The 0-1 delivery, and Nava fouls it off, 0-2.
A lot of these Philly hitters are looking like they are zoning Brandon down, and when he's throwing the ball at the knees or even below the knees, they're able to dig it out from moving away from the ground balls they were topping early in the game. And now Yasmani and Brandon making an adjustment, pitching up in the strike zone a little bit more with 93 and a few cutters.
Here's an 0-2. Up again, fouled off.
Some teams will face a guy that has a good sinker, a good two-seamer, and say, you know, make him get the ball up, make him get the ball up. Well, the Phillies have really said, you know what, he's going to keep it down there. Let's go down and dig it out and expect it. And now he's needing to surprise them with the balls up.
3 runs on 7 hits for Philadelphia. 0-2, and it's yanked into center field, a base hit. Here comes Herrera. Toll's throw is cut off by Gonzalez. And the Phillies lead 4-1 on a 2-out base hit from Daniel Nava.
Now that one hurts. 3-1 is not bad, but 2 outs and a man on second. You think, all right, get my team in the dugout. But here again, Makes a pretty good pitch. Nava just a nice piece of hitting to get this out into the outfield. Pulls the hands in, gets the hips out of the way, and pulls as deep as he was. Really, even with 2 outs on the crack of the bat, Herrera is going to score on that every time.
So now the only players in the lineup without a hit against McCarthy, the pitcher and the 2-hitter Galvis. Brock Stassi climbs in, homered against him the last time up, and takes ball 1. Drilled to right. Puig is there, and the inning is over. Well, the Phillies add 1 with 2 outs here in the 5th, halfway home in a 4-1 game. Number of great reserve level tickets just now have been made available for Wednesday against the Giants, starting at $22. Buy now while they last and be one of the first 40,000 in attendance that'll get a Vin Scully microphone statue from Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions and get here for what's going to be a really special night on Wednesday.
Get here early too, because you don't want to miss any of the pregame festivities. There's a lot of surprises they haven't even told us that are going to happen, and it'll be one of those once-in-a-lifetime events.
Zach Eflin to Chase Utley, starting the 5th with a strike. Brandon McCarthy due up 3rd in this inning, and nowhere close to a bat. Ross Stripling loosening. So it looks like McCarthy's day will end. Now they're in 2 on Utley.
It looked like Rick Honeycutt and Yasmani Grandal were trying to console Brandon McCarthy a little bit. Not that he was upset, but pretty much, you know, they did get their hits. They got 8 hits, but not all the balls were hit hard. A lot of them just found holes.
Utley drives the ball to left center field. Nava's not going to get there, and it's off the wall. Utley has his first extra base hit of the season. It's a double to open the 5th.
This ball is really driven. This is the Chase Utley that we've known to come and love. This ball is driven. It bounces right in and lodges in the fencing right there. And with the new rules this year, the outfielders are told to play it. And if you can't get it out or there's trouble, then they can replay that.
So the leadoff man in scoring position, and the 8-hitter Chris Taylor. Off the end of the bat, foul, strike 1. Taylor's 0 for 1, a ground out to short. Former Seattle Mariner farmhand Kike Hernandez due next to bat in the pitcher's spot here in the 5th inning. Chris Taylor is carrying a much different swing this year. Fouls off another, and it's 0-2. A lot of swing tweaks during the offseason, took him into spring training. Some rhythm added there to his hands, trying to get more out of his lower half, and there is more lower half from which to draw from. He's stronger than before. Eflin readies for an 0-2. And Taylor watches his sliders spin away.
It's one thing to have a better swing, better bat speed. It's another thing to have that eye right there, that hitter's eye, where you pick up the slider spin and can take that. Gives you a few more pitches to use that new swing.
Coming inside on 1-2. Taylor bounces one to short. Utley back to the bag, and Galvis throws Taylor out. So Zach Eflin gave up the leadoff home run to Tolles, but nothing since. Now to face Kike Hernandez with a man at second and one gone. Eflin started this season, as we mentioned off of the top, with a pair of starts in the minors, coming back from those knee surgeries that he had this offseason. Surgery on one knee, and had a cast that ran from his ankle up to his thigh. Lumbered around in that, got that off in time to have surgery on the other knee. And again, had a cast from the ankle up to the thigh. Hernandez checks his swing, ball one. So Eflin spent just about the entire offseason completely immobile until around Christmas. And he's able to get rid of those braces. But a different guy, pain-free in his knees for the first time since he was a little boy.
He's still thin, too. He did a good job watching what he was eating, or really worked off some of the weight from sitting around and being immobilized for a whole offseason.
He lets the 1-0 fly. Hernandez pulls it foul, and it's 1-1.
Can you imagine he gets the cast off on the first surgically repaired knee, and he's rehabbing it, and now he goes to have the other one. Now the other one's in a cast. He doesn't know if the first surgery's even worked yet.
Yeah.
And he's having the other one operated on.
2-1. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun off season, but sounds like it was worth it.
Doesn't sound like it's off
no,
at all.
No, you're right.
It's a rehab season, surgery season.
That backed him up in spring training. That's why he started this year in the minors. It's home with a 2-1, and Hernandez bounces one to second. Hernandez has it, and Cesar throws him out. Kike Hernandez to Cesar Hernandez, 2 away. Utley's at third, and Tolles comes to bat.
Andrew Tolles.
This holds the momentum in Phillies' direction. That was a nice play right there by the lip of the grass. Andrew Tolles trying to reverse that momentum. He is the lone Dodger run.
He's reached both times. Was hit in the foot by a pitch his next time up. Tolles is 4 for his last 7 after a 3 for 27 stretch. 4 for 7 after 3 for 27. Stroke foul, 0-1. Thing with Andrew is the plate discipline. And he's worked hard the last few days on being better at taking pitches. Gotten into a little bit of a rut where he was chasing more than usual. Tries to lay off. They'll check down to third. He offered, and it's 0-2. Stripling ready to go for the 6th. Little jam shot foul. Arco, top tier play of the game is brought to you by Arco as his leadoff home run that started the day on the right foot.
It sure did. I'll tell you what, he smashed that ball right off a piece of the hitter's eye out there in center field.
Ollie at 3rd and 2 gone, and an 0-2 pitch again. Inside, almost hit him, ball 1.
Big crowd here tonight, and I'll tell you what, he gets a hit here, get them back in the game.
Big bouncer to second. Hernandez has it. The Dodgers waste a leadoff double. On to the 6th, 4-1 Phillies. For the Dodgers, time for who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. So Stripling comes in for the 9th time this year. Got off to a good start, gave up just 1 run over his first 5 games, but has allowed runs in each of the last 3 times that he's taken the ball. And he replaces Brandon McCarthy here in the 6th.
Ross is one of those guys that you don't worry about after a rough outing. He's got a lot of poise, understands what he does well, he understands when he does something poorly, how to fix it. And he just hit a little rough spot. But back in the bullpen, and he makes that a lot stronger when he's there or if he ends up in the rotation.
His last action was as a base runner in the finale at San Francisco. Pinch ran an extra inning, scored the go-ahead run. 8-9-1 for the Phillies in the 6th. It's Andrew Knapp to lead it off. He starts him with a curve that's low, ball 1. And we said last night, Ross joked after the game and said, I'm probably faster than you guys think. I'd say I'm probably a 6.5 out of 10. 2-0.
What's that say about our expectations?
I guess that we don't expect he's very fast.
I know. I would have put him at a 7.
Pulled down the right field line. That is into the corner. Puig plays the carom. Knapp with a leadoff double. Throw gets by Seager, but Stripling's at the bag at 3rd as Taylor tracks it down. It's the 3rd time the Phillies have started an inning with a double.
Fastball in, pretty much hits the target. Just another good swing by a Philadelphia Philly.
Ninth hit of the game, fourth one for extra bases, 3 doubles and now, or a homer, and now a 3rd double. A couple times Zach Eflin's been up there trying to bunt, and twice he's wound up striking out.
It doesn't seem like it's his favorite thing to do out there, and doesn't seem like he picks up the ball very well. Seems to square around, keep the barrel above the hands, get it out front, but he's just not catching the baseball very well.
Lays this one down. Stripling will throw high, but the catch made by Utley. This time he gets the job done. Knapp advances to 3rd. Something you worked a ton on, I know, during your career.
I always thought that I did not want to have Tommy pinch hit for me because I couldn't get the bunt down. I felt like you could get another couple wins a year because you don't get pinch hit for. Field your position, hold runners well, and get your bunts down. It's going to really help you over the long haul.
Hernandez, the batter. Infield comes in against him in a 4-1 game in the 6th. Cesar 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. High fastball gets strike 1. Hernandez, who signed with the Phillies out of Venezuela when he was 16 a decade ago. Broke into the majors as an outfielder, now the starting second baseman. Another high fastball, this one taken, ball 1. Grew up across the street from a Winter League park in Venezuela. Some of his best memories, some of his earliest memories are going over there to games, and imagine himself one day being a pro player himself. With a runner at 3rd and 1 out, here's a 1-1 pitch. That's low, 2-1. I say that he's a great worker, really studious hitter. Anytime he has a bad at bat, he immediately seeks out the hitting coach, Matt Stairs, in his first year in that role, and they dissect what just happened. Ripped to second. Utley coming home with it, and they get Knapp at the plate for out number 2.
Infield in, that's a risk. Raises the batting average of most hitters by about 100 points, but when it's hit at somebody and they're as calm and as adept as Chase Utley, doesn't have the strongest arm, but doesn't make a mistake with the accuracy at all. Leads Yasmani right into the base path in front of the home plate. Easy tag. You can't get there when the ball's thrown properly.
A big out for the Dodgers to keep it 4-1 in the 6th. Stripling to Freddie Galvis after a toss to first. Galvis 0 for 3 in this one, trying to extend a 10-game hitting streak. Fastball caught the edge, strike 1. Both Hernandez and Galvis, so the top 2 guys in this order, both from Venezuela, played against each other growing up. Both signed with the Phillies in 2006. Both debuted with the Phillies because of a Chase Utley injury. First debut came from Galvis when Chase Utley was injured. It was in 2012. It was a knee injury for Chase. And then a year later, Hernandez made his debut when Utley went down with an ankle injury. Very similar paths from two kids that grew up a couple hours apart. 1-1. Mentioned that Galvis last night wears 13 because he grew up on 13th Street. The other motivation there was that his favorite player was Omar Vizquel. So wearing 13 for Freddie, a slam dunk. Also has a number 13 tattoo. And at first with 2 gone, and Stripling's 1-1 is flipped foul, 1-2.
Omar Vizquel is one fine role model. You want to play in the middle infield position. He's one of the best that I've ever seen. He played behind me when I was a Cleveland Indian, and it was a joy to watch him pick up ground balls behind you and make plays that you had never thought could be turned into outs.
Best ever?
For me, behind me for sure. Alfredo Griffin, though, in our championship year in '88 was really, really close. It looked like when Nomar caught a ball, if he had to be quick, that the ball never touched his glove. His exchange from his glove to his throwing hand was one of the fastest I've ever seen.
Freddie's defense has gotten better. The Gold Glove finalist for the first time last year.
I like that they're recognizing people as finalists now, not just naming the Gold Glove, but telling you who the upper echelon guys are.
Comes another 1-2. Grandal wants it up. Stripling gets it there. Grounded through the hole. Base hit. 2-out single for Freddie Galvis to extend his hitting streak to 11 games.
Not the typical Philly hit tonight, but there have been quite a few of these. They are having a tendency to have a nice steering wheel on the end of their bats.
So suddenly that play at the plate looks huge. That was the second out of the inning. Still no damage in this inning, but 2 on with 2 out, and the 3-hitter Odubel Herrera coming up.
Well, they go switch hitter, left-hander, then finally a right-hander, then left-hander, switch hitter, left-hander, switch hitter. Just seems like every time they come to the plate, there's somebody hitting from the left side of the. Tough for a righty. You've got to have your ability to hit both sides of the plate and change speeds.
Herrera doubled and scored his last time. First one to him in the dirt, kicks away from Grandal, and the runners advance 90 feet.
That's the other thing they do real well in Philadelphia is they run the bases well. They've got a lot of speed on this team. That was a very hard one. Yasmani got it up almost under and in his neck as that one jumped up high off the ground.
They're going to put Herrera on to load the bases and bring one of the right-handed hitters, the few right-handed hitters like you mentioned, up, and Maikel Franco. Pick your poison here. 3 and 4 in the order, and they choose to play the matchup.
Yeah, the only other right-handed hitter is Eflin, and he's the pitcher, of course, in the 9-hole, and he's been trying to bunt the whole night. So better chance to get the righty up. You see the average at 208, but there is a lot of pop in the bat here.
2 of those 3 home runs, grand slams. He leads the majors with the 2 grand slams on this young season. And he bats here with the bases loaded and 2 out in the 6th. Strike 1. Franco's still maturing as a hitter, only 24 years old. He's put a bigger focus on the mental side, just relaxing and being more selective this year. Here's an 0-1 to him. Tried to lay off, but couldn't, and it's 0-2. That's the old Maikel. It's been a long time since he's struck out. In fact, one of the longest runs of his career without Kane.
First pitch slider, second pitch curveball. And they're going to feast on his aggressiveness. He's thinking third grand slam. If he keeps thinking that and swinging, I think Ross will have a pretty good chance to strike him out right here.
The 0-2 in the dirt, ball one. Franco last year, Oral, had his helmet pop off on swings about 25 different times. He swings so hard.
Who charts that?
Well, he did.
Yeah, I could see that.
Only once so far this year, though. So that's there's an advanced stat for you.
Yeah.
Talk about the way he's settled in and relaxed at the plate, not swinging as hard. Triplin hopes he swings himself out of his shoes here. The 1-2, outside, ball two.
You can see on the first two pitches that they look like strikes, end up balls. Those other ones look like balls, stay balls, and that's why you don't get the swing. So now you're backed into a count where you really don't want to go to 3-2. Those runners will all be running. So this is an action pitch if you're thinking you're the pitcher.
Key spot in this game. And a fly ball to right center field. Puig is there. No big deal for him. Innings over. Stripling able to strand the bases loaded. Let's see if the offense can get it going. Down 4-1. For the 6 for the Dodgers, down 4-1. We look at our Coors Light cold hard facts. All time through 208 career games here where he ranks among shortstops. This is all time. Second in OPS behind Omar Garcia-Parra through 208 games for a shortstop. And he's leading off this 6th inning against Zach Eflin. 1 for 2 today with a base hit in the 3rd. That's one of the 3 knocks against the Phillies right-hander. Couple 23-year-olds going at it. And Seager taking strike 1. Eflin home with the next one. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers trying to come from behind in the heart of the order coming up against Eflin here. He doesn't have overpowering stuff. He's only K'd 2. 2-1.
Good start right here. Corey Seager in a nice hitter's count on his bobblehead night. Already got a hit. He'll get a Dodger rally going.
2-2. Has homered against Eflin before. That was a different Eflin though. Before his knee surgeries. Wasn't able to engage his lower half in his windup then. Winds and deals. Ball 3.
It just feels like a big pitch with the Dodgers down 4-1, 3-2 count, leadoff hitter, no out, best hitter in your lineup.
And a two-seam fastball comes back. He made a pitch when he needed to for strike 3.
Corey does not gripe very often. Pitchcast has it inside. Corey Seager has it inside. Gary Cederstrom does not.
Only the third Eflin strikeout, but it's a big one to start the 6th.
That one hurt.
Now Gonzalez. Strike 1. Adrian's 0 for 2, is twice grounded out. 0-2. One and two.
We've seen this scenario before where the Dodgers offense is really good one night and then the next night they just can't get it going. It's just as frustrating to the players.
Gonzalez to left. Nava's there, 2 gone.
As it is to us, as it is to the fans. They know the ability of this team. They know the run production ability. But it seems to have been hot and cold, and that's why they're sitting at 12-12.
Still having not won 3 in a row. Only 3 2-game winning streaks.
Dodgers last year in April were 12-13, and this team has this game tonight and tomorrow to finish up April.
It's a strike on Grandal.
Even if they lose tonight, they have a chance for a 500 April, but they would sure like to have a guaranteed at least a 500 April by winning tonight.
Cork foul. It's 0-2. Nice play, Jared. Grandal down swinging. 1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers in the 6th. Eflin right through the heart of the order. 4-1.
Still trailing 4-1 to the Phillies. Joe, you mentioned it earlier. Rancho could be a very stacked game on Thursday. Rich Hill is heading there, and we could also see Logan Forsythe and Jock Peterson. Logan working out earlier today. It depends on how his big toe is feeling, according to Dave Roberts. But if he's feeling good enough, they plan to send him to Rancho Thursday. And then Jock Peterson testing out his groin that he injured on Sunday. So he ran some curves with the training staff, swung the bat. Dave said he's close to 100%. So if he goes to Rancho Thursday as well, they're actually hoping to activate both Logan and Jock on Friday.
All right, Kelly, good stuff. And they have said that perhaps Franklin Gutierrez on Tuesday against Matt Moore. Dodgers catching a break here through this Phillies series, not facing any left-handed pitching, but they will again getting back into the National League West next week with the Giants and then the Padres. Top 7, Ross Stripling's second inning begins with a 5-hitter, Michael Saunders. Started him off speed and missed.
Ross's job right now is just to hold the Phillies in check and try and patiently wait for the offense. Protect the other pieces in the bullpen. Been stretched out enough to pitch until his spot in the order comes up again, or if he has to pitch through that. Kenta Maeda did a nice job last night in protecting the bullpen and going deep into the game. Just the 6th time a Dodger starter has gone 7 innings. 4 of those times have been by the big guy, Clayton Kershaw. 1 by Brandon McCarthy in his first 4 starts. Now he's had 5 starts where he had 1 time he went 7. And the other one was last night by Kenta Maeda.
It's 2-1. And back comes Stripling. Saunders swings and misses, 2-2. Nava and Stassi to follow. Phillies 4 runs on 10 hits in this one. Dodgers a run on 3 hits. Andrew Toll's leadoff homer. All they've been able to generate. A 2-2, and he got him swinging. Saunders the first out of the 7th on a K from Stripling, his first.
The fielder number 25, Daniel Nava.
So now Nava. Very first pitch of Daniel Nava's big league career, he hit a grand slam against Joe Blanton. Outside, ball 1.
The Blanton was a Philly. Blanton was a Dodger. I don't know.
Well, let's see. This would have been 7 or 8 years ago. Guess that would have been Philly territory.
I would think he was a Philly.
A 1-0. Down low, 2 balls, no strikes. News out of the National League East tonight. I know you saw Adam Eaton, the center fielder for the Nationals, done for the year with a torn ACL.
It's a huge injury. Right there was Shelby Miller with the elbow tear and needing Tommy John.
2-1. Nationals gotten off to such a good start, then first place in the entire National League here in the young season. Bryce Harper leading the league in batting average. There's a 2-1. And a crackbat pop up into short center. We've seen a bunch of those tonight. The 11th hit for the Phillies is another bloop.
Well, there's been an awful lot of balls falling in front of Andrew Toles tonight. And then there's been some ground balls finding holes. I'm starting to sound like I'm whining, but these are about 50% of the Philadelphia Phillies hits.
It's a 1-out single for Nava, brings up Stassi. Phillies are trying to get their 7th win out of their last 8 games after they started the season 5-9. They're beginning a grueling stretch, though. These 3 with the Dodgers, then they go at the Cubs, and then 2 of the next 3 series after that are against Washington. Outside corner for a strike. So those are the 3 teams that just about everybody picked to win their respective divisions. Phillies are going to find out if they're real or not. They're in quite a hurry. 13 of the next 15 against each divisional favorite. The 0-1. 1-1.
In some ways, I think the high water mark for the Phillies, just from afar and analyzing, is somewhere around 500. I think if they can stay close to 500, even slightly below, I think they've done a marvelous job with this roster and the growth of the young players, and then adding on those veterans to 1-year deals. And at the end, they might not be there because they might unload the veterans and then take a tailspin at the end.
So Dodger Howie Kendrick there on a 1-year deal. Hard hit to second, should be 2. There's 1 and 2. Stretch time at Dodger Stadium and a 4-1 game in the middle game of this weekend set. Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Monday night, we open up a 3-game series, Dodgers and Giants, and it'll be Cueto and Kershaw on that one. Now, Cueto's ERA not good so far this year, but over the last 5 seasons, these 2 men lead baseball in earned run average.
That is a great pitching matchup. You got to be here May 1st to see Clayton when anytime he takes the mound, something special could happen. Johnny Cueto is so much fun to watch. With all the different deliveries, he is a challenge to hit.
Yasiel Puig leading off the Dodgers half of the 7th, taking a strike. Go to Dodgers.com/tickets and get yours for the first visit from the Giants this year. Dodgers trying to win this series against the Phillies. And Puig begins this inning with a hard shot to short, but Galvis hardly has to move for the first out. So Puig's hit it hard tonight, but nothing to show for it. 1 away.
35, Cody Bellinger.
Frustrating night all the way around so far for the Dodgers, looking for some heroics here at the end.
Bellinger 0 for 2.
Swinging bunt hit, and then finally had a line drive, a legitimate hit, showing off his power swing last night.
Fastball tails into the zone, strike one. When Eflin's had it working, it has had a lot of movement.
Completely different Eflin tonight compared to who was here August 8th last year. That outing was 3 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, a couple walks. Tonight, 6 1/3, only 3 hits, 1 earned run, the Tolles leadoff home run, and that was all the noise from the very beginning, and then it's been completely no sound at all coming from the Dodgers.
Bellinger hammers a ball to deep right field. His first career home run. It's only a matter of time, and they give him the silent treatment down in the dugout, and he does it himself, high-fiving people on the back. And now they'll appreciate and enjoy it with him. That's his calling card. It's a ball on Chase Utley.
There's his mom next to, I would think, his agent, Scott Boras. Staying close to the family.
Smart. 1-1. 56 home runs over the last 2 seasons in the minors. Top power prospect in baseball. It's his first major league home run off of Zach Eflin. 100th pitch of the night from him, drifts away, and Utley's ahead 2-1. And it's jolted this crowd and hopefully jolted the Dodger offense.
Right before Bellinger connected, I was going to say there hasn't been a lot of loud noises from the Dodgers other than Tolles.
Utley hits one sky high to left, Daniel Nava for the second out. 2 runs tonight, 2 solo home runs. Tolles and Bellinger.
Third baseman, number 3.
Eflin has not gotten many swings and misses all night, only 6. But when the ball's been put in play with that contact, it has been light until that swing. Tolles back in the first inning.
Chris Taylor with the bases empty and 2 gone, and Justin Turner, if Taylor could reach, would bat in the 9 spot. Pitching him backwards, strike one. Pair of groundouts to short for Taylor tonight. Bounces this one to the hole at second. Hernandez cuts it off, and the inning is over. But Cody Bellinger hits his first career major league home run, and no doubt shot to right. Cutting into the deficit, 4-2 after 7.
Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the breakfast burger served all day at Carl's Jr. They wouldn't give you a hard time if they didn't like you. Cody Bellinger on his first career home run gets the silent treatment back into the dugout. Austin Barnes in the game at second. And Chris Hatcher in the game on the mound for the Dodgers, now 4-2.
You know, when Cody Bellinger was in spring training, backstage put a microphone on him, and we got to hear some of that rookie hazing in the mildest way. And pretty much the guys gave him a hard time throughout spring training and the day that he had the microphone on, or the day or two, and that was a great backstage episode as Eflin gets congratulations for his stellar 7 innings. But that man right there will remember Eflin's name for the rest of his life.
Andrew Knapp, the 8-hitter, leading off this inning. And he's behind Hatcher 0-2. Hatcher's flashed some good stuff here in this young season.
Sure has. A whip just over a 1 and an ERA in the mid-3s is a step up in the right direction for Chris Hatcher.
Going up and hammered foul. It's been a good night for Knapp, single and a double. Joaquin Benoit down in the Phillies pen. Knapp, the rookie, son of a guy who played 11 seasons in the minors but never played in the majors. Hard hit to right center, long run for Tolles. That ball is gone. Andrew Knapp hits his first career home run. So 2 guys here tonight hitting their first career big league bombs. And the Phillies have taken the run right back to lead off the inning against Hatcher.
Get some good backspin on this. Both home runs here tonight look like they've been one-hand jobs out over the plate. Just kind of the perfect place if you have a little swing left that you get full extension, and this one barely gets out. Both Chris Hatcher and Brandon McCarthy giving up home runs, and both were very surprised, and I was too, when you look at the swings and how much oomph was behind them.
Andres Blanco pinch hitting for Zach Eflin. Ball 1. All the runs in this game off of home runs. There's a silent treatment over there as well. Solo shots from Tolles and from Bellinger for the Dodgers. 3-run homer for Brock Stassi, and now a solo shot for Andrew Knapp. And there was actually 1 run knocked in on a base hit from Daniel Nava as well. So all but 1 coming off homers tonight. Both those first career homers, Bellinger and Knapp, came on 0-2 pitches. One and 2 on Blanco. We were telling you about Knapp's father having played 11 pro seasons. Never cracked the majors. That's always been a little bit of motivation for Andrew, trying to do something that his dad was never given the opportunity to do. A GM once told his dad, had you been able to hit left-handed as well as a catcher, you would have been a big leaguer. Here's a 1-2. It's in the dirt, 2-2. And so Andrew's mom, when he was in Little League, took it into her own hands and said, that's not going to happen to you. You're going to learn to switch hit. Natural right-handed hitter, but began switch hitting in Little League. And the motivation was that Dad had been told that was all that kept him from being a big leaguer. And even when he was way better as a right-handed hitter through Little League into high school, he still kept on switch hitting, practicing left-handed. It's one of the reasons he was able to break that ceiling and get into the majors. Full count.
sure his dad was just as excited as he was watching that ball clear the fence.
Both very emotional. Andrew broke into tears when he found out that he had made the opening day roster. Hatcher walks Blanco.
Second baseman number 16, Cesar Hernandez.
Top of the order now. Cesar Hernandez is 1 for 3, a single and a walk for him today. Guy that Larry Boa nicknamed Little Man. Larry's allowed to do that. 5'10", about 150 pounds in his playing days. Ball 1.
Larry can probably still field a ground ball very, very well. Probably not bend over as many times as he used to be able to. I bet you once or twice he could do it. He was fantastic to watch. I went to high school in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Used to go over and watch the Phillies play a lot.
How far is that from where you were in New Jersey?
We'd have to go just across the Walt Whitman Bridge and go over there. So through Camden, across the Walt Whitman Bridge, about a half-hour drive. Go over and watch the Phillies. Go over and find some tickets in the parking lot every once in a while. Or actually, my dad, every once in a while, will get them from a company. Schmidt, Boa, Lazinski, Carlton. Some really good teams.
Home run and a walk in this inning. And now Hatcher to Hernandez 1-0. Blows it by him. Strike 1.
That home run kind of sucked the air out of Dodger Stadium a little bit. Chris Hatcher looking for some outs to get some energy back going and get the bats back in the dugout.
Series wraps up tomorrow. Hyun-Jin Ryu goes for the Dodgers, and Nick Pivetta will make his big league debut for the Phillies. Pivetta in AAA, 24 Ks, 2 walks, and 19 innings, and a sub-1 earned run average there. 2-1. They throw back behind the runner at first, but he's in safely. Three and 1. And Hatcher, who looked so sharp in his last outing in San Francisco, pitching the bottom of the 10th inning, worked a 1-2-3 inning. Not that same guy in this outing.
And when he's right, like most pitchers, it's attack, 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 understanding how to get the fastball to both sides of the plate, starting down, then going up the ladder. His changeup and his breaking ball have been much better this year.
3-2.
Ryu brings some hope for tomorrow. Last outing went 6 innings, 5 hits, only gave up the 1 earned run. Dave Roberts wanted to see some progress from him, and he's been gone for a while. And had 3 kind of rough outings, but found the beam in his last one. One thing you find at the top of this Phillies order is if they get a guy on, they're a threat to run, and they're hard to double up.
Base hit to center. Homer walk single for the Phillies against Chris Hatcher here in the 8th, taking the momentum right back after Bellinger's home run in the bottom of the 7th. Freddie Galvis due up, a mound visit for Yasmani Grandal.
They're going over the signs for the man on second. They're also probably talking a little bit about if he bunts for a hit. I don't think he's going to bunt sacrifice.
Little trick getting played on Tommy Joseph over there.
That looks good on him.
It's a well done bubble.
Yeah. It's on there so in such a good way. I'm not sure he didn't put it on himself.
It'd be hard to get that on there that perfectly without him feeling it. You're right.
Yeah. It's like, how'd that happen?
2 on and nobody out. Hatcher to Galvis for the first one. He shows bunt and takes a ball.
Just thinking about bunting for a hit a little bit here, at least showing it. Chris Taylor at third is in the toughest position as far as reading where to go. If the bunt's firm, he's going to have to come get it. If it's soft, and thinks Yasmani or Chris Hatcher can get it, he can retreat to third. Only time the third baseman gets freed up from that decision is if the shortstop is going to break over to third on the wheel play. So Seager would have to come in behind the runner at second and start breaking to third. If that doesn't happen, that play's not on. Taylor's got to decide.
Galvis bunts this one nicely. Taylor picks it up and throws him out. It's a tough play by Chris Taylor. Of course, the risk if you let it continue to roll is that it's going to stay fair.
He made a great decision because he made this decision early, and when it's on the dirt there, you know it's going to come farther down the line, especially also with the angle. You said there's no way Yasmani can get that, and there's no way Chris Hatcher's going to get that. So that was a great read and a great play to get an out.
Runners move up to second and third, one away for Odubel Herrera. Michael Franco due next. Phillies in front 5-2 here in the 8th inning. Dodgers got the game's first run on a Toles home run to lead the thing off. And the Phillies 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 more here in the 8th. Dodgers getting their last run last inning on a Bellinger home run, his first. Fastball whistles in for a strike at 96. Odubel, the first Odubel to play in the majors. Had Odalis Perez. You've had Odubel McDowell. Now we have Odubel Herrera. He's a junior. His father also Odubel. 1-1. His dad's the one that taught him the game. He said he sometimes feels like it's his dad up there hitting for him because he hears his dad's voice running through his mind constantly. His dad has always preached to him better plate discipline, better patience. He's an aggressive hitter by nature. So Odubel Sr. was happy last year when he saw the strikeout rate go down, the walk rate go up. And Odubel Jr. earned an all-star nod. 1-2. Best sport growing up for him was volleyball. Played on Venezuelan national team, national junior volleyball team. Wasn't until he was 14 that he put his focus on baseball. Realized there's probably a little higher ceiling as a pro baseball player than a pro volleyball player.
I've got to believe he was a setter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good set right there. Smashed that one. And Howie just pulling it off, just talking to him like nothing's going on. It's all good.
I bet Howie put it there.
Maybe.
Jared Eichhoff, last night's starting pitcher.
HK 47, maybe doing something.
Two and two on Herrera.
Last time the infield was in, got a ground ball to second. Chase Utley cut the run down at home. Now Austin Barnes with that responsibility in the 4-hole.
Only the 9th time in Barnes' career, at least big league career, he's played there. Grew up as an infielder, didn't make the move to catcher until he was at Arizona State. Came up to the minors playing a little bit of both. Second and third and one away, and a 2-2 pitch from Hatcher. Takes it high, full count.
If Chris feels the changeup right here in his hand, the 2 high fastballs with first base open, and the right-handed hitter that they picked on last time, the only right-handed hitter in the lineup, on deck.
Blanco at third. Hernandez at second. Hatcher to the plate with a payoff, and he struck him out with a high fastball. 2 out.
Went to the well one more time. 3 high fastballs in a row. This one got down low enough to look like it was competitive. Could be a strike, but no, it's not. It's right down the middle, but up the ladder. Beat him there.
So now Hatcher will face Franco and try to keep this game within striking distance. RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast pace, pick up and play MLB action packed with all your favorite big league teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. You can learn more at RBIGame.com. Second and third, 2 gone. Hatcher against the cleanup man Franco has 2 hits today, double and a single.
Franco is a night owl. He's 16 for 50, hitting .320 at night. During the day, 3 for 34, 088.
Outside ball 1, so you think he should maybe rest tomorrow?
Yeah, he might want to take tomorrow off. We'd like him to play.
He's also been much better at home than on the road, above 300. At least entering this series. He was below 200 on the road. 2 for 7 in this set. That one's in there, and it's 1-1. Franco just 24 years old, his 4th year with big league time, but only his 2nd full major league season. Broke out in 2015, was in the Rookie of the Year discussion even before he broke his wrist in August, put an end to that year. Hatcher deals him 1-1, and it's up 2-1. Franco signed when he was 16 out of the Dominican and only hit .235 over his first 2 minor league seasons. So struggling adjusting to a new culture. Struggled to learn the new language, the food, everything that comes with a move. He pops it up, 2-2. Family wasn't there to watch him. That was tough for him. He eventually settled in and became the Phillies' #1 prospect, and then made his big league debut at the end of 2014. Still have very high hopes for him. I think he's a potential batting title guy one day. Numbers wouldn't show it so far, hitting .226 here at the end of April. 2-2. Lays off one in the dirt. Full count.
In my experience, those bubbles have a tendency to lose their air. That is a high quality bubble.
we're getting word that Cameron Rupp did it. This man here.
And he's already reloaded. He's got gum in his mouth. I guarantee you this is making a lot of highlight shows, and he will be embarrassed, texted a lot, tweeted a lot.
Flip foul again, still full. Dodgers will get the top of the order up again. 9-1 and 2 next inning. That's Barnes off of the double switch. Tolles and Seager. The deficit 3 after the home run from Andrew Knapp led off this inning against Hatcher. Trying to keep them within range though. Second and third, 2 gone. And a ground ball to third off a bounce. Seager, a long throw gets him and ends the inning. Phillies get one, but only one. Bottom of the 8th coming up in a 5-2 game. The Dodgers' upcoming schedule brought to you by 76. Tomorrow's game is on KTLA. In addition to Sportsnet LA, so is Wednesday's the finale against the Giants. 3-game series beginning on Monday with Kershaw Cueto, capping off with Vin Scully night on Wednesday. Joaquin Benoit, who's 39 years old, turns 40 in just a couple of months. His 16th major league season, Oral, with his 7th different team.
I had him when he was a puppy, when I was the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers. The thing that really turned his career around, and now it keeps him in the big leagues, is he has an outstanding changeup, a fastball that he couldn't get down when he was a young man, and so we turned it into a cut fastball, and that has really done him well. And he has not given up an earned run this year.
Austin Barnes leads off the inning against him and takes ball 1.
And I should say he hasn't given up an earned run at home this year.
3 total. Pretty good numbers though. 253 earned run average. A 1-0 to Barnes. To strike, it's 1-1. Tolles and Seager to follow in this inning. Dodgers with the 2 runs on 4 hits. Tolles and Bellinger's solo homers. That's all. Benoit deals 1-1, and Barnes tries to lay off his slider and does, and it's 2-1.
You climb back in. You got to climb back in a hurry. 6 outs.
Barnes ahead 3-1, leading off the 8th.
He might be getting ready to turn 40, but throwing 96. Oof.
Benoit to Barnes with a 3-1. Outside corner, full count.
Harry Cedarstrom has been wide on that side of the plate all night. Inside to lefties, away to righties.
Dodgers trying to start something in the 8th. Down to their final 6 outs here in game 2. Leading off the inning, Austin Barnes fouls it back. Again, 96 from the 39-year-old. Barnes this year hitting .208 with a home run. Dave Roberts has liked the quality of his at-bats. Liked him enough to give Yasmani Grandal consistent days of rest. And utilizing Barnes' versatility. Big reason he made this roster, getting him in the game at second. Waits on another 3-2. Here it comes. Fouled off.
Back in the 6th inning, the Dodgers had a 3-2 count to their leadoff hitter. It was Corey Seager, and he got rung up on a fastball that was too far in. Corey sits there and bemoans that fact, but focuses in on what he has to do now.
Barnes has made Benoit work for it. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat, starting the 8th inning. Strike 3 call. So Benoit with a strikeout to open the 8th inning. So we're taking a look at the bubble on Tommy Joseph's head last inning. That's when it first went on. He goes down into the clubhouse, comes back out, and he's found out what had happened. That joke went on for a while, and there's the perpetrator, Cameron Rupp. Looks like he's being a good sport about it. Tolls of the bases empty and 1 gone. Here comes Benoit. Fastball, strike 1. Tolls' home run to start the game with is his 4th of the year. Here with 1 out and the bases empty in the 8th, waiting on an 0-1. This one sinks low, ball 1.
That's Joaquin's changeup. He gets that up a little bit. It looks like a fastball right down the middle, and the bottom drops out of it. He's had the touch on that pitch his whole career.
Real thing and the bobblehead. Now 1-1 pitch. Tolls pulls it on a bounce to second. Hernandez throws him out. And Seager bats with the bases empty, just how the Phillies want it.
Seager.
Dodgers only 4 hits in this game. 2 of them homers. Utley had a double. Seager had the other hit, a single in the 3rd. Phillies closer Hector Neris. He's been pretty sharp so far, and run average around 2, 3 saves. Seager fans at the change, strike 1. Another change up, another strike.
2 really nice pitches. Great arm speed, great spin, great location.
Benoit trying to work a 1-2-3 8th inning. Home of the 0-2. Bounces that one in there, ball one.
When you're on the winning side of this equation, good starting pitching, an offense that's constant throughout the whole night, hitting with runners in scoring position. All of a sudden a bullpen that comes in and gets the job done, and now you have a veteran 8th inning guy on the mound with a 3-run lead, and then possibly your closer in the 9th. Doesn't feel good when you're on the wrong side of it, but boy, it feels like textbook when you're on the right side of it.
A 1-2 pitch to Corey Seager. It's the change. This time he lays off and the count evens.
4 in a row. What's that tell you about your scouting report, Corey? That you are a really good fastball hitter. And they are intimidated to throw you a fastball in the strike zone.
See, but they go 2 on 2-2. Fastball way up. Count is full.
3-2 change coming. Unless you're going to fool all of us. A couple different ways to pitch. Convince somebody what's coming and then throw the opposite. That's where you're trying to fool them. And convince them what's coming and throw it. But put it in a hard place to hit and look for weak contact.
Benoit is ready, and his payoff pitch to Corey Seager. Fastball up, he walked him. Dodgers with a 2-out base runner here in the 8th.
Went to the surprise pitch, but just didn't have the gumption to throw it for a strike.
Adrian's 0 for 3 in this one. Still looking for that first long ball of the year. Dave Roberts has continued to say he's confident the slug will come back for this veteran who's dealt with a sore elbow all season. Seager at first and 2 gone, 8th inning. Benoit delivers. Adrian pulls one to right. Saunders on, plays it on a bounce. It's a base hit. And Yasmani Grandal comes up representing the tying run.
Grandal smoked the ball in the 4th, a line drive to right. So this nice little half wedge shot, he's got to get it over the shift, which is a drawn out second baseman, and hit it between short right and long right. With this young man right here, Mr. Yasmani Grandal, some of the best exit velocity in the big leagues. And he showed it in the 4th inning when he just smoked a ball to right field on a line out.
So Benoit was 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Remember, he started Corey Seager 0-2 with the 2 changeups. Seager battled back, earned the walk. Gonzalez with a single. And now Grandal, who has 3 home runs this season, could tie it with a 4th.
Dodgers have not won 3 games in a row this year.
Here's their chance. The cleanup man Grandal up for Dave Roberts. First time the Dodgers have had multiple runners on tonight since the 3rd inning. So here we go. Tying run up there for the Dodgers in the 8th inning. Started him with a fastball, strike 1.
Yasmani getting a look at him right there, not being real aggressive. I think he was taking some inventory on Benoit because that was a very hittable pitch.
The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a change, and right now Benoit has him right where he wants him.
Watch the spin on this ball and watch the depth. Good downward action, good side-to-side action.
2 on, 2 out in the 8th, and an 0-2 pitch. Down swing. Dodgers put something together, but leave 2 here in the 8th.
Be sure to stay tuned after the game for Access Sportsnet post-game presented by Nissan. Those 3 good-looking fellas will be waiting for you, Johnny, Jerry, and the Professor.
I like it.
The Professor.
Grant Dayton on for his first appearance in 12 days. Activated off of the disabled list today. Had an intercostal strain. That's a core muscle injury. And here he is to pitch the top of the 9th inning, trying to keep it 5-2.
If you don't remember Grant Dayton from this year so far, you remember him at the end of last year. A huge impact arm in the Dodger bullpen. Performed so well, he ended up on the playoff roster, and it was almost like, don't wake him up. He doesn't know how good he is right now, and came into spring training with the same discipline, the same pitches, and picked up right where he left off.
Seven outings this year, no runs. He'll face 5, 6, and 7 in the Phillies order. Michael Saunders up first. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, Hector Neris will be the man for the Phillies towing the rubber, and the Dodgers will send Puig, Bellinger, and then the pitcher's spot. And Justin Turner is available to Dave Roberts off of the bench. Saunders 1 for 4 in this one. Dayton's first pitch in a couple of weeks, misses low and away. Dayton, the former Auburn Tiger. Pops the mitt with a fastball, 1-1. Dayton drafted by the Marlins. Watched the draft around his computer with 2 of his teammates. Never expected that he'd go as early as he did. 1-2. He had run upstairs actually to grab a bite to eat, and his friend shouted up, "Grant, you got drafted." And he said, "There's no way that I already went." But he did in the 11th round to Miami in 2010. Traded to the Dodgers. Big league debut last year. 2-2.
You get a feel where you're going to be drafted just by as you talk with scouts, or maybe even your skipper on your college team or your high school team will hear from scouts, and they kind of talk and they try and figure out, A, how much would you sign for if you ended up going into certain rounds, or How's the background of your family, and are you really committed to going to college if you're coming out of high school? Are you really committed to going back to college if you're a junior? A lot of those questionnaires to try and hone in on where you might get drafted, the players are thinking, and what you might sign for, the scouts are trying to figure out.
Saunders has fouled off a couple. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dayton made his first big league camp 3 years into his pro career while he was with the Marlins, 2013, but then suffered a stress fracture in his pitching elbow right at the start of that first big league camp. Shut him down for 3 months. Another foul ball. And while it probably felt like he was pretty close to the majors at that point, knocking on the door with a big league camp invite, it wasn't until 3 years later that he finally got that opportunity. Had to move organizations to make it happen. Michael Saunders starting the 9th for the Phillies with a bouncing ball to Gonzalez, who snow cones and feeds Dayton for out number 1. Here's Nava. Well, Auburn, a pretty good baseball school, so you figure that Dayton was typical SEC thoroughbred that mows his way through high school and highly touted, but Auburn was his only Division I offer. And they offered him a minimum scholarship at the very last minute. They saw him strike out 20 in a 7-inning game as a high school senior. Ball 1. And then was at Auburn, but really wasn't pitching a whole lot. Started to earn his way into games because of that fastball that's been so good. Put him into a more prominent role, and ultimately was why he got drafted when he did. Two and 0.
His mannerisms on the mound are one of a guy that has a very low pulse. There's a lot of confidence in what he's doing out there, has a really good idea of what makes him successful. I think he hides the ball really well. I mean, we see he doesn't throw 97 miles an hour, and he doesn't have tremendous movement, but he has a tendency to have, he has one of those fastballs that just hitters have a tough time picking up. I think between the delivery, a little bit of the stiffness in the delivery, and the way he hides the ball when it comes out of his glove, actually turns and puts his numbers towards the hitter, and they have a tough time seeing his arm swing, and it just kind of appears.
Nava hits one sky high to center. Andrew Tolles is there for out number 2.
Number 41, Brock Stassi.
Slow heart rate, you're talking about that. It's part of the reason why the Dodgers used him as often as they did in the postseason last year. 11 playoff games. Dayton pitched in 7 of them.
The guy that went down to Okie City, Josh Fields, to make room for Grant Dayton today. Worked really hard on his breaking ball in spring training, made a lot of progress, and Grant has been working on his too. These guys that rely heavily on their fastballs but want a better secondary pitch. Worked very hard on his breaking ball in spring training. It's come a long way.
So 1 to Stassi. Hit foul quickly 0-2. It's a bummer for Fields, right? I mean, 9 outings, 1 run allowed, but had options.
Yep. 1.29 ERA, I think it is, and Josh Fields, he was sent packing to Okie City, but he was told by the manager that don't worry, you'll be back, and the manager even told the media that. Dave Roberts in his scrum today.
Dayton gets him and works a 1-2-3 inning in his return from the DL. See if the Dodgers have some magic in them. Yasiel Puig will lead off the bottom of the ninth. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Energy Upgrade California. Aaron Altair is in the game in left field for the Phillies. Defensive sub for Daniel Nava. He's their best defensive outfielder. Dodgers with an uphill climb here, down 5-2, and ready to face off with Hector Neris, making his 13th appearance. Started the year in more of a setup role, but he's moved into the closer spot. He's converted all 3 save opportunities.
Fastball split finger, so what you say is make him get the split finger up, make him get the fastball down. The fastball can hover around 95, 96 miles an hour.
Puig, Bellinger, and then likely Justin Turner for the Dodgers. Puig goes after a first pitch fastball and dumps it back, strike 1. Not untouchable, Neris. 3 of his last 4 outings, he's given up a run. And given up 7 hits in his last 4 outings. 0-2.
It's really a grooming process to have him as the closer when you have a guy like Joaquin Benoit with all the saves and all the veteran status and still throwing at 95, 96. But having the veteran in the 8th inning and young fella on the mound in the 9th.
He works fast. 1-2. Puig takes it down and away. Back-to-back pitches. He went to Puig's traditional weakness. Yasiel took both to even the count with Bellinger due next. Now the 2-2. Just barely got a piece on a fastball that was blazing towards his hands.
There's got a little bit of the Fernando Rodney look out there on the mound as you take a look at that fastball running in on Yasiel. Not quite crooked, but straight bill and tilted up.
Full count.
Here we go again, a Dodger leadoff hitter of an inning with a 3-2 count. Last 2, Seager and Barnes struck out looking on some very borderline pitches.
Here comes a payoff, and Puig hits it off the end of the bat foul.
Yasiel gets on base here. Some of his frustration from today will be vented. He has had a day where he's looked good at the plate, hit the ball hard at times, and not had anything to show for it.
Swing and a hammered ball to left center field. Puig leads off the 9th It's a start.
The frustration has been relieved, and he put it all into this baseball. Another tailing fastball in on him, didn't get quite as far in, and he did a very nice job pulling his hands in to get the barrel on that, and that was a no-doubter.
It's like the balls he hits during BP. So a 5-3 game, and Bellinger hit his first career home run his last time up. Swings away, belts one down the right field line. It is gone! Puig and Bellinger back-to-back. One-run game.
Another swing, first pitch, Cody Bellinger. The last time it was on an 0-2 count. He didn't wait long to hit his second big league home run. This one off the foul pole, and you don't have to hold up number one, hold up two. That's what you got. Dodgers within one with 3 outs to go.
And you start thinking about the famous 4+1 game where the Dodgers hit 4 consecutive home runs in 2006 to send the game into extras before Nomar Garciaparra won it with a home run of his own. Now Justin Turner, still nobody out. Strike one.
Justin didn't leave anything in the bag with that swing.
Swing and a drive. Absolute madness. Consecutive home runs to tie the game in the 9th inning.
4 pitches, 3 home runs.
And now Chris Taylor, still nobody out. And Neris spikes one for ball one. Do you believe it? The Dodgers, with 5 solo home runs, have tied the Phillies at 5 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Taylor down the right field line, and now the crowd seeing these balls with their hearts and not their eyes. It fades foul, and it's 1-1. Turner's first of the year evens the issue.
He hit the ball hard yesterday, but there was a 25-mile-an-hour wind, but he hit this one today like there was a 25-mile-an-hour wind behind the ball. But the man behind the ball was Justin Turner. 27 bombs last year. That's his first of 2017. Tie game.
The same franchise. They hit the 4 consecutive home runs to tie the game years back. Hits 3 in a row here. 1-2 on Chris Taylor. That was in 06. They entered the 9th inning trailing 9-5. Jeff Kent homered. J.D. Drew homered. Then Trevor Hoffman came in. Russell Martin and Marlon Anderson homered against him. Taylor down swinging for the first out of the 9th. That got the game to the 10th inning. San Diego had scored to retake the lead in the top of the 10th in that game, and then Kenny Lofton walked in the bottom of the 10th before Nomar Garciaparra won it. That came in the middle of a pennant race in September. This comes with the Dodgers trying to gain traction early on in 2017. Austin Barnes now. Popped up. Foul grounded first. Stassi won't have room. And you can't blame a young guy like Austin Barnes for having big eyes here, looking for a pitch that he can hammer. Puig, Bellinger, Turner, 3 consecutive home runs to tie it. Ball and a strike on Barnes. One and two.
Puig with his 4th of the year. Bellinger with his 2nd of the night. Turner with his 1st of the year. And Dave Roberts with a very big smile.
Barnes hits a bouncer up the middle into center, a base hit. Winning run aboard with 1 out. And the top of the order coming up. Pete McCannon coming out.
This one finds a hole. The Phillies had a few of these tonight. Seeing high ground balls. And the Dodger enthusiasm on the bench is completely different than it was for about 7 innings.
Neris pulled out of the game. Back to back to back to tie it at 5. Barnes with a 1-out single is aboard. It was Puig to lead off the inning. It was Bellinger off of the foul pole. It was Turner off of the bench to tie it. Don't go anywhere. Joely Rodriguez has only made 23 career Major League appearances, and he's thrown into the fire here with a winning run aboard for the Dodgers and 1 gone in the 9th.
With the noise and where the Dodger Stadium faithful is right now, and the bench, and the music, No one would feel comfortable on the mound right now. The momentum is really completely shifted to the Dodgers.
Toles hit the first of 5 solo homers tonight to lead off the game. We didn't know it at the time, but it was a sign of things to come tonight. Bellinger hit 2, Puig hit 1, Turner hit 1. First one from Rodriguez. Inside, ball 1. And it only takes 1 pitch before Andrew Knapp feels the need to go out and talk with the young right-hander.
I know the score is tied because of 3 home runs in a row. But I also know that with a youngster on the mound that doesn't have much big league experience and threw a ball that far inside to Andrew Toles, that the pitcher might build the inning for you. Patience might be the way to win this game.
On 1-0. Instead of toss over to first. Barnes pretty good speed. Here's a 1-0. Toles fouls it off 1-1. Rodriguez, the only left-handed pitcher on the Phillies staff. Pete Buchanan calling on him here with Toles, Seager, Gonzalez, all left-handed hitters at the top of the order. Barnes represents the winning run as the 1-1 pitch comes home. Strike 2.
Andrew Toles this year, not many opportunities against lefties. 1 for 3 this year. His career here in Dodger blue, 4 for 16.
Off the end of the bat to left. Long run for Altair, but he's there for the second out of the 9th inning. And guess who's coming up? On his bobblehead night, a chance to be one of several heroes. Back-to-back-to-back home runs have tied it. And now with a winning run at first, Seager bats with 2 out. First one through the front door, strike 1.
Corey usually aggressive, but taking a read right there on the delivery.
This one misses away and the count evens up, and he throws him back-to-back sliders to begin. Going outside again. Seager lines a base hit to left. First and second with 2 gone. Winning run in scoring position for Adrian Gonzalez.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Fastball away, and Corey doesn't try to do too much. If he's trying to pull this for a home run, no, but he just tries to hit it right back up the middle. Slightly late, but really on time for Alenia.
Adrian can win it with a base hit. Strike 1. Done it 10 times in his career. Barnes the only man that matters. He's at second. The 0-1. Up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. 3 homers and 2 singles in the inning. They chase Neris. Now Rodriguez trying to get out of it. Ready for a 1-1 pitch. Off the end of the bat, 1-2.
Two outs, 2 strikes. As soon as Adrian starts to move the bat, the runners will be moving. Easy to get a jump right here.
Ground ball foul, stays at 1-2. It's been a frustrating first month for Gonzalez. Guy that's hit for power throughout his career, sapped of that power right now by the sore elbow, sore forearm. Won't take power to win it here. Arms in the outfield, all good, but a good runner at second in Barnes. Rodriguez ready for another 1-2 pitch. And he protects again. Still 1-2.
Adrian really getting his nose in there. Those balls are down and away, and he's doing a nice job keeping his head down through the ball to be able to foul those off.
He's fouled off 3 in a row and waits on another 1-2. That's down the line foul.
You got a good one to hit right there. Just a little quick on it. This ball is up near the middle of the plate, and he smelled it a little too early.
Another 1-2. Bounce to the hole. Picked off the glove and into left. The Dodgers win it. A night to remember. They hit back-to-back home runs to tie it. 2 singles and then a little help from some shoddy Phillies defense to bring home Austin Barnes and win it 6-5.
Broken bats, balls that find holes. That's how the Phillies scored a lot of their runs. Well, the Dodgers found one at the end after the power surge tied it up. Is this the win they've been looking for to start to launch them into this 2017 season, looking for their 5th division title in a row?
A 6-5 win with a 4-run 9th inning. Access Sportsnet Dodgers starts right now.